Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Love to Live podcast. Today, the topic will be how can we maintain our present connection? In other words, how can we spend more time being here in the here and now and have a better life as a result? So, I'd like to just start this off by saying we all live different lives. Every single one of us has something unique or something different that we don't do to the next human. No matter how close we might be to the next human being, we're unique in at least the minutest detail. So in one way or another, everyone's different. But there's some things that no matter how unique we all are, there's some things that are universal and some things that we can do together. For example, being more mindful of what we're doing in this present moment. So right now it's talking to you. That's what I'm doing. I'm focusing fully on that. For example, the other day, I took a basketball and went down to the park to start shooting some hoops. Now, I understand a lot of people might like to listen to music and do these extra things whilst doing something else, which is excellent. If you'd like that, that's fine. But me personally, when I do things, like for example, play basketball, I went, just me, the ball, and the hoop, and I stayed there for about an hour, hour and a half, just shooting, practicing, moving the ball around, taking shots from different areas on the court, really trying to fine-tune and feel the angle that I'm shooting the ball, feel it in my shoulder, down to my elbow, to my wrist, really trying to perfect the motion or the physics behind each of my shots. Now, that might seem mechanical, but me who was trying to go and improve myself at basketball, that's the best way, at least from my understanding, that's the best way to do things in that manner if you want to improve something. In other words, by focusing 100% of your effort into the thing that you want to improve, you will improve it the fastest. So, back to why I brought up music earlier on. You can listen to music. In fact, I encourage music. I love music myself. But have you ever tried, or at least heard of the story of back in the 80s and 90s? You know, you might have heard this from your parents, or those of you that were here and around in the 80s and 90s, you probably can remember this. But when music used to come out on the cassettes or on CDs, or even before CDs, probably cassettes, you'd go around to your mates or even yourself, you'd play your cassette, you'd probably play it on a speaker or even hook it up to some headphones, and you'd really just sit there and enjoy the music that you were listening to. Nowadays, music's sort of taken for granted in the aspect of it's now played as sort of a background effect. It's played when a lot of us are doing our work, could be on a laptop, could be doing homework, could be doing work for our profession. These things that we're doing while also listening to music are more enjoyable because music is playing. Yes, that can be true. But also, are we putting 100% of our attention into the thing that we're doing because the music is playing? If yes, then carry on. Again, how I mentioned at the beginning, we're all unique, so doing certain things in certain ways works for some people, and others have to slightly change the methods. But overall, being mindful of what we're doing, especially if we want to put 100% effort in, which most of the times we do, we just don't. So if you can identify that, yes, I do want to put 100% of effort into this thing that I'm doing right now, then try to be aware of the other factors that you're also doing. Like, for example, listening to music, which may, in specific conditions, you've got to see if it applies to you. Like, for example, doing my homework. If I was going to do some homework, then music for me might not be the best option if I want to get the homework done the quickest. Especially not if the homework that I'm doing is something that I really enjoy. It could be work for a profession, if it's something that I enjoy and I really want to take the time to learn it, then having music on or something in the background might not necessarily be the best way that I'm going to channel my brain and the brain's focus into absorbing this information that I'm trying to research and study. So he brought up driving and listening to music. Now, again, excellent. A lot of people, me personally, I love driving and listening to music. That's excellent. So it might not apply in that circumstance there. But just be aware of when you want to do things 100%, like for example, read a book. Some people might listen to music whilst reading that book, and that's fine. But again, just ask yourself before you do certain things, am I putting 100% of my effort in? If so, then continue. If not, then try to have a look at the things that you're doing that might be slowly or very slightly siphoning your full focus away. Music's just one aspect. I'm not criticizing music here. Music's something beautiful. It's a language. It's something that portrays many emotions. Absolutely. And it's something that we should all, if we like music, listen to. Whatever type of music you're into, enjoy that. But the topic of this conversation is, if we're doing something, are we doing it to the best of our ability? And I'm using something like music as just a common example that a lot of us might be doing without even realizing we're slightly siphoning away our full focus on the task that we could be doing. Now again, it depends. You apply that to how you operate in your life.
That's so beautifully said, honestly. And as we were speaking about music, and we have been speaking about music a lot, because as it says, music is a language in itself. Music is one such beautiful tool that we can focus and be present. Another tool of actually training your mind, training your brain to be present, be mindful, is either self-talk or journalism. Writing down what you're doing, what you're feeling at the end of the day. Honestly, when we feel like being present, this is something that me personally, I have been experiencing it a lot. Our body has been so accustomed to the society or however our environment, our habitat, anything. Naturally, unknowingly, we have gone into this autopilot mode. And this is the reason when something very obvious or something very new comes up, we often feel very overwhelmed. We often feel what's happening? How are we gonna overcome this thing? How are we gonna think of something better? At that time, breathe. Be remind yourself, be present. As just a few days ago, I was rewatching this beautiful movie called Kung Fu Panda. And Master Oogway has always been one of my favorite, as he reminds me again that our mind naturally starts thinking about what has happened and what will be, rather, instead of focusing on the present. And here comes the words of wisdom. That is, yesterday is a history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why we call it a present. And the more we keep our mind focused in the present, we can start realizing there is so much to feel, there is so much to realize, there is so much to understand. Just a simple practice of being present is breathing, focusing on your breath. That in itself signifies that yes, we are living. We are not only logical, but we are biological. We are living. And whatever has happened, it has happened. We have survived, we have lived. Whatever is about to happen, we will definitely live. But right now, we are living. So, Maybe during the start of your day, or maybe by the end of your day, making it a habit or making it a practice eventually that we write something, whatever we have done, whatever made us feel happy, whatever made us feel different, a bit special for that moment. It gives nice stimulation to your being presentness. And yeah, once you do it, you know it. And once you know it, you can live it, you can relish it. So, yeah, starting with breathing whenever you're feeling overwhelmed, and just adding a little bit of touch of either speaking with yourself by the end of the day or writing down something which really made you happy. Being present. Big love.
Something else that you can do, anyone can do, and this is something that I personally do. Water, if you think about it, water as a liquid is the only liquid that we really need to survive, right? So I like to consider water as just a beautiful, beautiful substance that we have on Earth. Not only is it necessary for me to survive, I really like drinking water. So every time, or at least most of the time, I remember, just before I'm about to drink some water, in my mind, I like to just say thank you. I'm thanking the water for being so nourishing, just being so nice. But this liquid of water is precious to me, and I make it clear every time I remember to just be present and drink the water. If you can get a few times throughout the day where you're present with just you and the water that you're drinking, then that in itself becomes a bit of a practice that you can use to anchor yourself here to the present moment. Now, it doesn't have to be all about the water, just the fact that you are being present whilst drinking your water, it allows you then to get out of your head. It forces you at the beginning just to be with yourself and the water, which then translates into the rest of your life. Try that and you'll see what I mean by it translates into the rest of your life. If you're present whilst drinking the water, then you finish. You may, for a few moments after, be present, which then allows you to then do whatever else you're doing with much more clarity. Now, over time, if you were just to be present every time you drank water, those multiple times throughout the day when you're drinking water would slowly expand, and you'd be present across more aspects of your life. You'd be here. You'd be more clear. You'd be able to make better decisions because you won't be in your head from this story that's always running. You take a moment out of your day to just be here and drink your water. So when you do that multiple times a day, over time, that practice adds up. And soon enough, you're being present for a lot longer throughout your day, even if it's in chunks, but those chunks will spread and grow until you're present a lot of the time throughout your entire day. And by that point, your life will have changed in that process. So that's one way of saying that water can change your life if you drink it in the correct way, even though there is no right way. But why don't you try that? Every time you drink water, that can be a practice. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to go out in nature. You might not always have those kind of opportunities or right conditions or whatever the condition might be. You might not always be able to do things that put you in a different surrounding or external environment, like we might have mentioned in the last episode or two. So another way that we can come here to the present moment and get out of our heads is the water method. So try that next time you're having a drink. And soon enough, you'll see that it spreads to the rest of your life. Also works with food, but I understand
I was just about to jump on that.
food's a bit more of a process, a bit more time it takes, I guess, to eat food than just have a sip or a glass of water. So start with water if you can, because everyone drinks it at one point or the other, and then you can start to move that to food.
The mic just moved on to food right now. We have always heard of this beautiful term called good food, good mood, right? And I've heard from my elders that you become what you consume. So interestingly, this is something my elders have always taught me since my childhood. Be aware of what you're eating. Be absolutely focused while you're eating. When you're eating, just focus on that. No phones, no distraction, no books even. Let your mind relish the food. Let your soul feel what you are consuming. Let you, all your senses, experience the taste, the flavor, the delicacy, and everything. Because once we are mindful of what we are consuming, food, so the food becomes nourishment. Our mind also thinks, our mind also is focusing, and it's also kind of imbibing that energy that yes, nourishment is coming up, and I am nourished, I am healed. So with food also, if we are aware of how we are speaking, what we are speaking, because every word matters. My father always used to say that um, words are like keys. Words are like keys, which can shut the door for someone, but also open the doors to opportunities. So once we start practice being present, being mindful, every food becomes nourishment. Every words become the words of God. Every words become the word of love, as we are doing right now. Love to live. And obviously, once you fully devote your focus into the food, into your work, you start living life, you start relishing life, you start loving life. And from the deepest core of your heart, when you feel that happiness every moment, every time, your mind starts chanting, love to live, love to live, love to live. That might of a joke, but that's it is. Happiness, being present, brings clarity. And from clarity, we feel happiness, because clarity is the solution. Clarity is the opportunity. Being present is the gift. So design your own style, own method, because there are 101 methods of being present, being happy. And which one will work for you? Do let us know. Yeah. But before that, I would love to listen some more from my brother. There you go.
Well, that was today's episode. We're going to just wrap that up here. But any questions and comments that you might have, please feel free anytime to leave them below. And stay tuned to keep updated with our journey and progress of sharing videos like this in future. Until we meet again, take care.